Hey, what's up, Facebook fans and fans of YouTube and Twitch? This is the Cryptic Heartland Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Leo Fernandez, and of course, the man across this chair, across the way there, is Mr. Jason Roberts.
Hello.
What's up, Jason?
How's it going?
Good, man. This is episode number 142.
142, and happy Father's Day.
Oh, yeah, happy Father's Day. That's not just to people out there, too. So we're inching closer and closer to episode 150, which we're trying to plan something behind the scenes, hopefully something fun for the viewers, something fun for us, and hopefully have some fun. Just fun. But anyways, so what's been going on, sir?
Not much. Just was looking forward to the weekend. It's already here, and
I know.
Our podcast always means it's work tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah. Even though I'm always excited to be here, and I'm always excited to talk about weird stuff.
Yeah.
But it always means back to the grind tomorrow.
I know.
So.
Exactly. That's okay. Hopefully soon enough this will be our job full time. Doing podcasts, doing, ghost things, doing whatever. Bigfooting, UFOs, you name it. So
yeah.
We're trying to get there, working towards our way towards that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for everybody who's tuning in. See people chiming in with happy Father's Day, so thank you guys. Happy Father's Day to any fathers out there too. So we appreciate you guys watching. So tonight I think we're gonna just kind of we were discussing some things off air here, what we want to talk about and things, and we've been kind of holding on to this one for a while, and we were just discussing why not tonight. So tonight we're looking at doing it's a case.
It involves a family,
mm-hmm.
So why not?
Yep.
It's Father's Day, so let's talk about family.
Yeah, exactly.
In a weird way.
Could be partially, part paranormal, part real world, otherly world maybe.
Could be.
We'll just call it that. Who knows? We'll call it what it is. But so this case, I'm not sure if anybody out there is familiar with it. It's a case out of Kentucky. It's called, I want to probably butcher this crap because I always do. That's what I do. It's out of a place called Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And I don't know if they really have a real set name on it. I mean, other than Hopkinsville.
It's the Kelly-Hopkinsville encounter.
Yeah.
Also known as the Hopkinsville Goblins case.
Yes. So that's right, you heard him. Goblins?
Goblins.
What the hell?
I know. It's a bunch of goblins and everything. This happened in 1955.
Correct, yep. In Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'm surprised I haven't butchered that word yet. So, what's so unique about this is it's just a weird, fascinating story.
It's actually one of the most well-documented alien encounters ever put out there.
Mm-hmm.
That has even gone as far as the Project Blue Book, and colleges around today in psychology classes actually talk about it.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because everybody knows about Roswell and Area 51 and stuff like that, but I know you said people use it in case or in colleges and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
but outside the market, you don't really hear about this case as much as you probably should.
Right.
Because it's creepy, it's intriguing, it's fascinating. All whatever word you want to throw at it, it is.
I've actually watched a documentary on it too.
Did you happen to see it on the History Channel?
Years ago, it was something like that. Years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Which always I got to see their animation for it and how it all went down, and it was fun. But it was kind of in the same way. It was kind of spooky in a way,
right.
Just how they brought it about.
Yeah.
But did it happen?
I don't know. See, the thing is, you got 11 so-called witnesses that came into the local police station, Hopkinsville Police Station, claiming to have just battled these goblin-type
14 to 15 creatures.
For hours.
I think they said 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a quick, hey, they came and went.
Right.
It's like this just kept on going.
They were just shooting up a storm, trying to defend their farmhouse.
Right.
With all their family inside.
Yeah.
And these creatures kept coming over to the windows and trying to act like they were coming in.
Yeah, just bizarre. So you got a whole family name. This last name is Sutton. You said their names. I don't remember their names. I know the last name was Sutton, but
no, it was Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor and his family.
Yep. It took place on. It's funny as the way this is written because it says mythology began.
Yeah.
So, on the night of August 21st, 1955, they just came into the studio, the police station in the southwest Kentucky part I cannot talk today. I'm so tired.
That's
the
all right.
Southwest Kentucky area, and they had been talking about this. Like I said, this big encounter. I just want to see if there's anything. Yeah, just the several hours. What it says, but.
When they went into the police station to actually report this, and they were claiming that they were being attacked, and they fought off these creatures for 4 to 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So the police, thinking that this was like neighbors fighting against each other,
right?
They sent out what was it? It was 4 city police, 5 state troopers, 3 deputy chiefs or sheriffs.
Partridge in. Oh,
yeah, I was almost going to say that too. But they also sent 4 military police officers from the nearby U.S. Army base, Fort Campbell, all to go out there and check it out. And when they arrived, they got out there just to see that, yes, the house is like riddled with bullet holes everywhere, broken glass, windows out, everything. But no trace, no evidence or anything of the so-called creatures.
Right.
You know, and they were claiming that there was lights off in the distance, that they were seeing like a green luminous light off in the beyond the trees and stuff like that, and that the creatures were jumping from tree to tree and coming toward the windows, acting like they were going to come in, and they were pretty tall, little. I mean, they were little creatures, but
right.
You know, shorter than the normal human. But they were coming in, trying to come in, and every time they shot at them, they would like disappear.
Right.
So that part doesn't make any sense either. So
now, when they said they shot at them, were they disappearing into thin air, or were they just disappearing?
It was like just gone, kind of like in the TV show Supernatural. You know, they shoot at a ghost with the salt rock,
yeah,
and they just disappear.
Gotcha.
So kind of in that fashion, they were shooting. As soon as they get one in sight, they'd aim, fire, gone.
Interesting. So, that's funny because Rhea said it sounds like a Dean Koontz novel.
Maybe so. Or maybe Dean Koontz got his idea from this.
And Bree wants to know, were the bullet holes in the house from guns or aliens?
No, they were actual. They said the only evidence that they saw was from actual gunfire.
From their own, possibly?
From their own rifles. Because, I mean, I guess they had all the rifles and pistols that were laying around. Yeah. And all the ammo was, like, out and about. And, you know, so they obviously were having some tension out there. And they were shooting the house up for some reason. But
so bizarre.
Yeah.
There's this, well, we won't get into that quite yet, but I want to put up a couple of pictures here because this is what people that were there claim to be seeing. I don't know how I feel about it, but I mean, what's intriguing is they all said the same thing. They all looked alike.
Right. The family's description, all of them had the same description of it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see which one we'll do first.
Which, you know, again, when you have witnesses that don't falter on their eyewitness account, you know, are they telling the truth, or are they all really well planned out?
He wants to know if they were shorter than humans.
Well, yeah, they were shorter.
Where the bullet hole, okay, sorry.
So the creatures were actually like peeking into the windows, or they were up high, almost like floating wise, coming at the windows and everything. And don't worry, we'll get to the reactions to the world on this one, and
no, we won't.
And okay. And to what actual psychologists and actual researchers think happened.
Sorry, I'm working on getting this up here. This picture here, and just
no, that's okay.
They look like.
That's all right.
Now this is just an artist rendition, kind of, but it has some facts on there too. That's why I'm putting this picture up in particular. Let me just do that so I can. There we go. Okay, coming up here in just a second here. What would be what they were describing that night that they saw? There we go. Allegedly, this is what they were encountering and fighting that night. Was this goblin-like creature with these, well, as you can see, pointed ears, long, elongated arms and legs. I mean, some torso. The torso was kind of looked like almost humanoid, and as far as that goes. but their eyes were like kind of like spread wide apart. It's not
Right.
the typical alien encounter that most people would, would envision, but there we go, it's better. But still,
as Rhea said, it's Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, that
I
brings
know.
up a good point. What
I
if
know.
Lilo and Stitch is based upon something like this? I mean, I don't know who wrote Lilo and Stitch. I'm sure to look it up, but
Right.
what if this is why they got this character? Because is Stitch, and is that who it is? Stitch is the alien, right? Is he an alien?
Yeah,
He is,
Stitch.
I've never seen
Yeah.
the movie all the way through.
I finally did, actually. Just
So-
recently.
Aquatic Stitch. Nice, Brie. Which is kind of interesting. The reason I was going to say this, I'll tie it in now. I was going to wait a little bit, but some friends of ours who had the pandemic not happen last year were going to be at the Kansas City Paracon with us. Was a guy and a husband and wife called Greg and Dana Newkirk. If you ever watch any of the shows like Kindred Spirits, they're on there. They've been on a couple other TV shows and stuff like that. They have a traveling occult, like a exhibit that they bring around. But the reason I mention them is because they have an actual documentary out right now. I think it's on on Hulu or Amazon Prime, one of the two. I think it's Amazon Prime, called Hellier.
Right.
And it's based upon this place in Hellier, Kentucky, that's not too far from here, that's exactly like this almost, same story, similar. And this is what they said they encountered out there. The people that called them, and I'll go over that in just a second here. 1 second here, let me get this switched over. Ooh, I just messed it up. Man, it's going to be a rough show tonight. I'm having so much trouble tonight. Okay, so remember the picture of this goblin on the page right now, the description that they saw. This said they had yellow eyes. I just lost the feed for a minute. That was weird. Okay. So on the screen now is a picture of what Hellier, the documentary, talks about that they see, describing the same type of creatures out there. And what their story was, Greg and Dana Newkirk, what they described is Greg got a random phone call one day he's from Kentucky, Hellier, describing a similar incident where this guy called him and said, we need you down here immediately. This is what's going on. We have an encounter, basically, where we're fighting these aliens also, too. It's almost identical word for word. Right. And basically what they said is they got down there, they could never locate this guy anywhere. And people had never heard of him. They had never heard of this actual house. They just could never figure out. And they spent a vast majority of the documentary trying to find this location so they can even go troubleshoot this thing. And they think they found the actual house based upon some characteristics because the guy had sent them some pictures through email about this. And they kind of deducted this is what they thought the house was, but had a similar incident where this goblin-like creature this guy encountered, but they could never find out the actual, the character, the main guy, whatever. They can never find him. Not a character. It's a real person. Well,
right.
It's supposed to be a real person. But the thing that was intriguing is because it's like, picture, Arkansas with the hills and stuff like that. This is how Hellier is, too, with the mountains in the background. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Hellier, the guy was a doctor, that's right. Thank you, Charles. Like I said, it's been a while since I've watched it. The guy that called him was a doctor and had kids, whatever, and he said he experienced the same thing where they come up to the windows, peek in, trying to get in. They never got in the house, to my understanding. But they would send clips to them too, and there's this weird the aliens are supposed to be or the goblins are supposed to be making contact, and you hear these things kind of growling in a way, like they could hear it. Because you hear that, it's in the background now, whatever, and it's an odd, eerie sound. Now, could it be made up? Of course, but
you kind of hope that it's not.
You're right, but they went down there, like I said, and what they found out going back to the mountain areas is they think they come from the ground up, not the skies, from the earth.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I asked you earlier, were they disappearing? Were they up in the thin air? Were they dissipating, or were they disappearing into the earth?
That's a good thought. I don't think they... to them, I think they were disappearing,
Mm-hmm.
just off into the world or air.
Mm-hmm.
But, and skeptics are just immediately to, like, hear that and blow it off.
Sure.
So no one's going to think about it. And the aspect that maybe they are coming up from the ground.
Right. I don't know. They went in. They had a couple guys. They went into the tunnels and tried to find these things. They could never locate them.
Wow.
They did some weird experiments, kind of stuff that we do paranormal wise.
Right.
Similar types of things. With the we talk about. You like to call it Frank's box. Things you call it.
Yeah.
Which I've heard different things, different variations of it. I can't remember what the other word. I'm not thinking straight right now, but if I could think of another name, it'd be.
Everybody's got a name for it.
Yeah,
so.
Different type. And what we're talking about is where you put the noise canceling headphones on. You put like blindfold over you. Try to just
Drown.
white noise basically.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's an SB7 spirit box, kind of like we used last week on the show.
Right.
SB7 spirit box, and you try to communicate with things. People outside of it will be asking maybe questions that the person listening can't hear. They just start blurting out answers or writing out, whatever they can figure out, remember. They start telling what they're hearing, and they did this, and they've got some weird, interesting things. And if I remember right, I should have watched the show again if I know we're going to talk about this, because I want to say it almost tied into Ingrid Cole.
Really?
Yeah, which we all know about Ingrid Cole is tied in with the Mothman, which ironically enough was in this West Virginia days, was like this weekend I think it was, with the Mothman I believe. They had a big festival out there also too.
Yeah.
Once again, Ingrid Cole is, I know we're jumping all over the place, but they all kind of tie in loosely together.
Right.
Ingrid Cole is a guy that, with the Mothman, when they started seeing this creature out in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, this guy showed up into town and had an odd appearance about him, kind of grayish, skin, kind of darker eyes, kind of just an odd character, but kind of friendly, I guess, in a way. Like,
he was odd. He was like Ingrid Cole. When the people saw him around town, he walked into a store, wouldn't say anything. He just had like the crazy, creepy smile on his face, and was staring. And then he like looked down and was fascinated by a pencil.
Yeah,
that he saw on the table in front of him, and he like picked it up and is just staring at it,
right?
Not saying a single thing, but yet everyone around him swore up and down that they could like hear him talking, maybe
like sounds, maybe
some mumbling and stuff like that. But his lips never moved, and then he walked away just as it just disappeared as quickly as he showed up. And he also kept meeting up with that one gentleman right before the big incident of the bridge collapsing there in
right,
Point Pleasant. But
yeah, and that was the thing with the whole Mothman thing. I mean, people don't know the story by now. I'm sure you guys do, but
hopefully you have.
It always showed up right before possibly a tragic event was supposed to happen, and the bridge was the big culmination, basically, of things to happen.
Supposedly somebody saw it right before 9/11.
Yeah.
Some people saw it right before some other tragedies.
Somebody saw it, was it last year?
Just recently, within the last few months, they saw it over at Chicago O'Hare International Airport. So,
but nothing happened that I know of, right?
Nope, but somebody saw it, like, it was over by the fence, over on the runway, just beyond the fence, and they saw, like, the wings spread out, and it was doing some weird things over there, and then flew off. So
Charles said did he threaten a reporter there too in Point Pleasant?
Threaten?
Yeah, have you heard that?
I don't know about the reporter, but I know he kept meeting up with a guy that was a town over, and kept talking to him. He would the guy was driving home, and he came across a bright light on the middle of the road, and up walks this guy who's smiling, and he told him what his name was.
Oh, that's right.
He never moved his mouth. It was all through telepathy. He basically, made it look like it and sound like it was all alien, togetherness. I don't know. My mind's, I'm breaking too on this.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, I know. But no, they said it was all integral together. From aliens to the Mothman to all this, but I don't know.
Well, I always think of Ingrid Cole. I'm trying to find a picture. I know we've talked about him before, and I'm trying to locate pictures of him that we
He's creepy.
talked about.
Yeah.
I can just find him on the web, but
I did send you a picture though of what they think and believe.
you did?
This I did a little bit ago.
Oh,
just
I didn't see it.
a few minutes ago. I sent it to the line chat.
Okay, I'll pull it up. Go ahead.
But they, what eventually people claim the Sutton family there in Hopkinsville actually saw, based on what they were explaining. So going back to the incident, after the police came out, I mean, they had a horde of police officers out there from different branches.
Right.
Couldn't find out anything, so they left it at that maybe the family's just making it up. They're just misidentifying something and freaked out. But the crazy part of it is about, I think it was like 2:30, 3:30 in the morning, they claimed that the creatures came back again, and the neighbors saw the whole family quickly pack up everything and they left. So they were freaked out enough to leave their home.
See, and that's kind of what happened in Hellier also, too. This guy, well, they never found the actual house, but similar thing where the guy just up and left, basically. His whole family. The weird thing was that nobody ever really heard of this person.
Really?
Yeah, that's what gets a little crazy, I guess we'll call it. I'm pulling that up right now. So you said this is what people claim?
This is what today's psychologists and universities claim. They believe that the Sutton family, or the whole family, both families that were there, this is what they were actually seeing. And I'll wait till the picture pops up.
Should be up here in just a second. It's the bottom underneath. I left the Hellier one up because this is a color picture.
Gotcha.
So we can kind of compare.
So this is the great horned owl, which they said is nocturnal, flies very silently, very territorial, is known to fight off, or if they feel threatened, they will come attack. Mm-hmm. So, and they are pretty decent size.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, so being, and they have, kind of like what the ears would look like in description, and the yellow eyes and all that. So, could it be? Could they really misidentify this? A family that lives out there in the country all their lives on a farm. Do you think everybody in the house was that drunk, even the children?
Drunk?
No, because that's one of the claims. Their claim is that, drunk. So this is what they, one of the actual claims is, it is plausible, if not likely, that the aliens were great horned owls, and there is some evidence that the eyewitnesses may have been intoxicated during the so-called alien attack.
Gotcha.
And that was by a psychologist and a huge skeptic of the whole thing back in 2006.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is, how they're presenting it. It's just a big hoax.
Yeah.
Misidentification. But it scared the family enough that they got the hell out of their house.
Yeah.
But if that's a family that has children in the house, and you think they've all never seen an owl before?
You would have thought by living out where they live.
Now, and why this time, and only this time, would the owls, like a whole herd of them, which they don't even do that, right. Attack a house?
No.
Were there feathers out there? No. There was no trace of an animal or a bird that was, especially of that size, actually around the property.
Yeah. And what they claimed to see was, and this is the house, a picture of the actual house.
Yeah.
The one up on the right above the owl is an artist's rendition of what they supposedly claimed that was going on.
Right. Where
all these things were on top of the houses, out in the yards, just like trying to draw them out. And they battle. I know that doesn't really give it a true, accurate, okay.
If
that
you
being said, look at that picture. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no, you're good.
Picture, the one on the right, and one of the descriptions they said had yellow eyes.
Right.
What does the great horned owl have right there? Yellow eyes.
Yellow eyes.
Pointed ears.
Pointed ears. It is. It is plausible, I guess, to say that all they saw was a bunch of owls.
Yeah.
But why are the owls like hovering around the house? What made it happen?
Yeah, what would trigger that? I mean, I don't know much about them, but
I don't either. But I don't think that they travel in herds.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're pretty much on their own, hunting on their own and doing stuff.
For food most of the time. They're nocturnal, looking for rodents and whatever else, prey, whatever.
But this family is being attacked, or they say that it's coming to their windows and banging on it and coming or moving all about the house.
Right.
To me, it just doesn't seem like it would be that, especially if they didn't find any evidence of, like I said, like feathers or anything else.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing at Rhea. Trying to deliver a Hogwarts letter. I mean, quite possibly. But does it take that many to come deliver a letter?
Hey, when you're not letting them in and you're shooting at them, it may happen. But
oh yeah, trust it to be a flock, not a herd.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't. Did you say a flock? I mean, a herd?
I did.
Oh, I was like, did I say that? Oh shit, it wouldn't surprise me if I did.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
but
oh yeah, like Bree said, yeah. Where's the feathers?
Where's the feathers? Where's the evidence? If they were actually aiming and shooting at them and stuff, and they actually hit one, you would think it would be on the ground.
Right.
Feathers, all that. Where's the blood of these creatures? Were they that bad of shots?
I mean, they're shooting in the dark, maybe.
Maybe.
But
they're actually, if they're right at the window and you shoot at it, wouldn't you think you got one? If you got a shotgun and you blast it.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. The whole case is bizarre.
But anyway, this is just one of those cases where today it's used as at universities to talk about truth to fiction, and they really play it off as this family was completely delusional, and it's that pseudoscience where you think you believe you're seeing this one thing when it's actually just misidentified, and you're dealing with something else.
I mean, that's quite possible. Have they heard from the family? Do they know what happened? I know you said they.
Not really. Not that I've ever read that they've ever, They may have, but I've never read anything that the families come back to say, no, it was actually this or this. They've never come out to say, oh, no, we were drunk. Oh, we were making it up.
Yeah. Going back to some of the story here, I was just looking at it. I just noticed, I read something right here. It said, according to the accounts given to the police, about 7 p.m. it was a Sunday evening. Oh, much like today.
Yeah.
Just kidding around. Said that Sutton family friend Billy Ray Taylor was fetching water from the backyard when he saw a silvery object. He said, real bright with an exhaust all the color of the rainbow. He said it came slightly towards the house, passed over, stopped in the air, and then dropped straight to the ground. Let's see what else there is. Said most of them on the side didn't take Billy Ray seriously, laughing off his UFO account, just basically thought he was full of shit. And this is the Sutton family we're talking about. But about an hour later, they were alerted by the dogs. How the barking he kept barking and barking. So they went to the back door. They said they made out a strange glow in the midst of which they smiled a small humanoid creature, about 3.5 feet tall. It had an oversized head, almost perfectly round, arms. Said extended to the ground. Hands had talons, and its oversized eyes glowed with the yellowish light. But it said the body gave off an eerie shimmer in the light of the night's new moon. They said as if it was almost made of silver metal, which that's not silver.
Yeah.
I don't know what owls glow like in the dark, but if they glow. But, I mean, is it possible?
Maybe what he thought was talons wasn't really talons. It could have been,
yeah,
unknown fingers of some kind, that we've never seen before.
So two of the men grabbed a 20-gauge shotgun and a 22 rifle and fired at this little man. Its hands now raised as if it was being held up at gunpoint as it came towards the back door. They said the thing did a flip, scrambled upright, and fled into the darkness. They saw another creature appear on the side window. They fired through the window screen. Said it was impervious to its bullets. This thing again flipped, then disappeared. He said, I went out in the hallway and crouched down next to Billy, and that's when I saw another one approaching the door. Said it looked like a 5-gallon gasoline can with a head on top and small legs. They keep saying how it shimmered in the bright, like bright metal.
Right.
What the freak? Let's see if there's anything. Oh, this is kind of creepy. Said when Billy Ray Taylor stepped outside under the small overhanging roof, and those behind him saw a claw-like hand reach down and touch his hair.
Yeah, owls don't do that.
No. This one thing said it floated through the ground, which maybe it was flying if it was an owl, but then it scurried into the woods. It said they spent several hours listening for movements, hearing mostly occasional scratching on the roof. About 11 p.m., the whole group ran for their cars, hightailed it to the Hopkinsville police station at top speed.
Interesting.
Man. That's so bizarre.
So, what do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean, if I heard this, I'd probably say, oh, man, this dude's full of shit. But let me just put up this picture real quick here, because they said this is Billy Ray's description. Where the hell did it go? I literally just saved it, now it's gone. Oh, maybe it's right here. Hang on one second. Nope, it'd be right there.
So I wonder if today, if anybody's alive still from that night,
59.
how they would, huh?
Oh, man, I said, 59 was not long ago.
55.
Oh, yeah, 55, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that long ago, but I just wonder what their description of everything would be.
I don't know, since they disappeared. Okay, here we go. I put it in the wrong spot, that's why. So this is what they claim, Billy Ray claimed. He said that ship he saw that came out from behind towards the house, this is what it looked like. Should be on the screen here just a second above my head. There it is. So this is his description of what he saw.
Now, see, some of the universities claim that possibly that was a meteorite that they saw. That supposedly there was a meteor shower that night or around that time of the incident. And that when they were firing off into the distance, they kept saying that they saw green glowing coming from back beyond the trees. Well, they said that was like, what they say, it was kind of like a natural phenomenon with the bio gas and all that was illuminating in green from the fire of the rifles and everything. Then when the bullets hit back there, hitting the wood that was rotten and all that. I mean, they keep coming up with all this stuff that, well, it's this or that, and it's not what they saw.
Yeah.
It's not what they claim. It's all natural. It was an owl, it was a meteorite, and it was just biogas from there. And, all three happened at the same time.
Yeah, and one of the guys from the Project... Oh, crap, hang on. One of the guys from the Project Blue Book, which is the UFO alien thing, just said, as far as the shimmering of this thing, it may have just been reflecting off the moonlight, like the moonlight reflecting off of it, possibly.
Could be.
They still swear it's the great horned owl, whatever. But
yeah, Project Blue Book actually listed it as a case that's a complete hoax. But, But when does it ever get to the point where maybe the skeptics and the scientists that are, go to hear these stories, it doesn't come to their mind as plausible, so therefore they just call it a hoax. But what if they're full of shit with all their explanations for it? So you're telling me that, great horned owls, a whole flock of them are attacking this cabin or house. You got swamp gas that's out there blowing up, and turning green, plus a meteorite shower. Just happened to hit it just right where they claim there's a UFO, and that's, and he draws a picture of it, but it's just an asteroid, just a meteorite. They hit, all at the same time.
Yep, perfect storm.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah. So, and then the family's so freaked out that they leave their home and leave everything behind. I don't know.
Well, I mean, think about the time frame. Like I said, 1955.
It's 1955.
That's a different mentality back then. You weren't supposed to talk about things like this. Had they did.
Well, Roswell happened in 47.
Right.
So this is a few years later.
Right.
So I can imagine that if something like that, the sky and the aliens and stuff, it could be like riding on your mind like, oh crap, maybe this is real.
Yeah.
But if I go outside and I see like a shiny silver creature that's walking my way and out there, and then all of a sudden there's several of them, I don't know.
I don't either.
I'd be a little freaked out by it, especially if one's like reaching down to grab my head.
Right.
And everything. I don't know. I've never seen an owl like come so close to a human that's willing to do that.
Right.
Even if they were being territorial. You know, most of them will just kind of like fly around you, kind of maybe dive bomb, stuff like that. But they never mention anything about the sounds, like a screech of an owl or anything like that. They never mention anything like that.
Right.
But yet that's the plausible.
Yeah, and like Bree said, what would be the point? I mean, what would they have to gain by creating such a hoax?
Right.
They never got any money. They left the house. I mean, it's
right.
Unless you're trying to, well, no, I was gonna say make up a story to get out of maybe some debt or something. I'm leaving, whatever. We got chased out by aliens.
And over 50 years later, they claim, well, they're probably just drunk. But you don't know. You're just assuming.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bizarre story. And like I said, it's weird that after reading more of this now, it's similar to, like I said, the Hellier case. Like I said, which I highly recommend. Season 1 was the best. Season 2 got a little in the weeds a little bit. I think they were trying to stretch a little bit some things out. But the first one's really interesting. Just how it all ties in. And one thing that we going back to, their mention of Ingrid Cole, you know, in the Hellier case, plus with, you know, Mothman. It's almost, you know, reminiscence of the whole, you know, Men in Black, and I don't mean the TV, the movies with Will Smith and them, talking about the actual Men in Black that.
There's actual Men in Black.
That's what they say.
Really?
And I wear black all the time, so I'm a man. Well.
Let's not go there. No, I'm kidding.
But no, really though, seriously, they always had the same, you know, kind of grayish skin, you know, black eyes or, you know, sunglasses, whatever, dressed from the 50s. And just feel they seem like they're out of place, kind of like Ingrid Cole. You know, here he was, and was it the 80s? No, wait. When was Mothman?
That was
70, I
the
forgot
70s, I believe.
Let's see here. I don't know. I should have known this, but anyways, going back to it, you know, here's this guy who, 50 years or 20 years too late, whatever, as far as the period dress, you know. I mean, kind of, I guess, if you want to call it that, as more of a 50s, 60s look, and here he's still wearing it. I mean, it's possible. But they say these people that show up in alien...
67.
Okay. So, I mean, yes, he'd still be, you know, part of that with the whole dress, the top hat kind of a thing, whatever.
Right.
But it doesn't help explain the Men in Black that you hear of today, whatever, where they show up in the same matching suits. Kind of like that's why Men in Black makes fun of it kind of in the movie. With the blank stare, you know, maybe not even a mouth, possibly.
The last suit you'll ever need.
Yeah, put it on. But anyways, it's just like, I don't know, man, it's bizarre. We have our buddy that we talked about, mutual friend, you know, because there's the black-eyed children we talked about. They kind of go hand in hand with Men in Black, you know, that they show up wanting to get into your home, whatever, trying to gain an entrance and gain your trust, and real persistent. But the Men in Black are the exact opposite. They're just show up to see what you know.
So where do we break that line between truth and fiction to that? You know? Thinking in a plausible way of what people are actually seeing. Say they saw something.
Right.
And even my friend who saw the little children.
Yep.
How do you break down like his perspective of it and the whole incident to what we're thinking?
Let's recount that story for people. We have a mutual friend. Okay.
If they didn't listen to it, no, I'm kidding. I'll tell it.
Go
ahead. So a friend of mine who I used to work with came to me and said that after he found out what I did all the time, he's like, man, I've had some weird things happen to me over the years. And he said, back when I was living on my own, before I was married, I was getting ready for work, and I had my car out there that's...
just a shell, wasn't it?
It wasn't a shell. It was like a car he'd been working on, so it's kind of like a show car type thing that he was kind of working on, that he didn't really, you know, do too much with, and especially didn't allow strangers to get into it or anything. Well, as he's getting ready to leave, he hears a knock on the door, and he opens it, and he's home by himself, and he's a guy.
Early morning, right?
About that time, yeah. And there's these two young girls at the door asking, you know, hey, we're lost. Can we come in and use your phone? He said the whole thing just seemed very odd from the moment I opened the door.
Mm-hmm.
They just seemed off. Now, he doesn't recall, like, their eyes being weird, but just their personalities and everything, standing there like twins, just
Right.
like, can we use your phone? Can we use your phone? Can we come in?
Yeah.
Can we use your phone?
Just real persistent once again.
Yeah. You know, we're lost. Can we come in?
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, I'm going to work, please, you know,
Right.
please just, can you go check the neighbors, you know? So he closes the door. He walks away and he looks out the front window just to see them getting into his car that he thought was locked.
Right.
But here they are, and they're just sitting there in his car. So he runs out there, a little freaked out, starts yelling at him, banging on the door, saying, open the door, get out of my car.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, can we come in? Can we use your phone? You know, and just would not. And so he runs back and he's like, I'm calling the cops. So he runs in to call the cops. And he's got the phone in hand. He looks out, and there they are, walking just peacefully down the street as if nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Just walking away. And that's the last he ever saw of them. And he's like, okay, so that's weird, Jason. He's like, I've never thought about it until I heard you talking about the Black-Eyed Children on your podcast, because he tuned in and heard us talking about it. So he's like, okay, that's just freaky. And he's like, I've never told anybody this story, but this happened. And it's never left my mind. And since then, you know, he's been having sleep paralysis. Yeah. He's noticed shadow people within his house and stuff like that, especially the Hat Man, that we always talk about.
Right.
It's just crazy stuff that he just, you know, he can't explain. But he said, what would have happened had I let them in? I was like,
I don't know.
There's stories, dude. I was like, there's stories of people who have let them in.
Yeah. And
next thing you know, you've got the Men in Black pulling up. I mean, there was one story that I remember. Sorry, I was reading that. Remember, Michelle even brought this to the table back when she was on the show, talking about how this family let these kids in their house, and their eyes were weird, and they were just sitting there, and they just wanted to use the phone. They used the phone, and all of a sudden, a car pulls up, and it's two men in suits, black suits, that are waiting out there for them, and the kids just quietly walk right out there, and the Men in Black just kind of stare at the family.
Yeah. And
they all get in the car and drive off. It's almost as if they let the little alien kids out and about,
Goblins.
You know, or goblins. And who's to say they're not like putting trackers in the house or doing something?
It's just odd behavior.
It's weird.
Yeah. And going back to the guy Jason's talking about, I knew him years before I ever met Jason, because I worked at a location and he worked nearby.
World.
Yeah, just a small world. And I know the guy. The guy was real quiet, kind of he's a stand-up guy, whatever. And what's even weird, I'm not trying to put this into there, but he's real religious also too. So for him to even want to talk about this once he found out what Jason did, I mean, takes a lot. It takes a lot for him to come out of that shell to even say this to you.
Yeah, because I mean, he even wanted us to come over and at least hear the story, check out his house, but he didn't want it investigated. He didn't want it. He just wanted me to come see the house.
You guys did. You and Rose did. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures of it. Did anything? Do you remember anything that? I know it's been a few years ago.
Yeah, this was back in
probably 2019, probably, if not.
No, it was
18.
it was torn. It was like 2018.
Yeah,
went over there.
It's been a hot minute. I was gonna say.
But went over there to the house. I just remember had some really high readings in the kitchen, right around the area where he kept seeing, like the shadow figure peeking around the corner.
Right.
So, and just some other things, odd things that were happening upstairs with the shadow figure in their rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Were hitting on exactly where he said his wife would see it or he would see it. You know, we'd walk over there to it, and immediately we get a spike. And then it would disappear, almost if something was standing there, it walked off.
Dissipated or moved on, yeah.
It's weird, yeah.
I
needed you there is what I needed. So
I don't remember what I was doing, but it's back January 24th, 2018. I just found the pictures from when you guys I collected that.
What day? What month?
January 24th of 2018.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's been a long time ago. Well, long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, for this guy to come out and say this or even tell the story, it's interesting because, I mean, it's local and it's. I would love to talk to him again and see what's gone on since. I mean,
Right.
I know you're not in direct contact as much with him anymore. You don't work on.
Well, I could.
I mean, I know.
I could reach out to him
yeah.
anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just a lot of things have come up in life and moved on because I don't work with him anymore. But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to hear him talk about it more. Hell, I'll even invite him on if you want me to.
If he'll come on and talk,
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Charles was talking about the Navy even admits UFOs exist, and then Jeremy said, yeah, they do, but they never admitted aliens. That was it.
Yeah, they've
Which
gone
is
as
true.
they've
Which
gone
is
as
true.
far as saying UFOs exist, but
Right.
of course we've already known that.
Yeah.
Unidentified flying object. We've always known that
Sure.
that is, so the government's saying that, oh yeah, they're real,
Right.
but we're not saying aliens.
Yeah.
So they're not really saying anything new that we
Right.
didn't already know. Basically.
Going back to the recent footage of the Navy pilots that had seen
Yeah.
this for years, solid, a year solid, the female and the male, and it was on 60 Minutes, whatever it was, or something. They did a thing over it. The thing that was weird is the show Expedition X that Josh Gates
Yeah.
is part of. He did a 2-part series on this about the same time, right after, and one thing that they brought up, and if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it for you. It's been about a month now. Not you, but people in general.
Right.
They kept saying...
You don't care about my feelings anyway.
I don't.
You're going to talk about it and tell me. Because I've missed it. I haven't watched
really?
it yet. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I want
watch
to.
It, trust me.
Yeah.
Because they have multiple retired Navy people on, or, government officials on there, or people that, military people. And they talk about this particular area out by Catalina Island, which is out by L.A.,
Uh-huh.
and where this footage was shot nearby, San Diego and that whole area, L.A., that whole up and down the coast. They said they've been seeing these things for years. Things are classified. Now they're being brought to light. But the thing that was really intriguing, I remember Dan, who was on the episode when about the time this happened, he was talking about, he couldn't remember the words, it's USO. Like UFO,
Yeah.
It's unidentified submersible. I can't say the word.
Submerged.
Objects.
Uh-huh.
And
that's been around for years.
Expedition X captured these things.
Yeah.
They,
you told me about
allegedly,
this. Yeah, you told me about this.
See these things that come out from the water, and they caught it on, it shoots out where they had one of the guys was on the boat, and the girl was up on land, quite a bit of ways from each other. He didn't see this light above him. I mean, it came out of the water. She could see this thing float up, and they have it on video, and it just shoots straight up in the air. Now, could it be since it's TV cleverly edited, of course? But, I mean, I'd like to think that this is possibly, knowing the area, that this is something related somehow to these UFOs and USOs that they've been seeing. I mean, it's just the whole thing, that bizarre they saw. They caught something on video also, too, in the night sky that had very erratic flying patterns that no man-made ship could possibly do. It's crazy, man. It's worth a 2-part episode. There's like season finale, I believe, the last 2 episodes of season 3, and it's definitely worth a watch because it fits in exactly with what's been going on. They had a guy that just basically, we'll say, retired from the military, who had insight into all of this stuff that's been going on. He talked to him on the show about things.
Right.
He says there's some stuff I can't still say because I still have clearance,
Right.
Whatever. I can't give that information out, but I'll give you what I can tell you. And he went out on a mission with them, and it was pretty good, freaking wild, man. I don't know, dude.
Well, I mean, even during World War II,
Mm-hmm.
Navy ships were, when they're like in port together, or kind of stationed out there in the overseas, kind of together, not.
Sure.
There was a whole, I don't know how many ships, I think maybe 4 or 5 ships that were kind of grouped together,
Yep.
kind of surrounded by some islands, and they actually saw a USO. They saw the light underneath the water.
Right.
It was going around. They didn't have any idea what in the world that was. They were expecting it to be like some kind of Nazi or, something going on, and then all of a sudden it just pops out of the water, flies around each ship, and is circling them, and they said it was moving in a way that nobody had the technology at the time to do that.
Right.
And then it just went right back in the water and went off. This is all by every single ship saw it. Because all the sailors are out there pointing and watching and getting freaked out, thinking, "Oh, do we need a fire? What do we need to do? Because this is beyond our technology."
Yeah.
We don't talk about it, do we?
No. Yeah.
It's all classified. But now all the sailors are coming out and saying and talking about it and say, "Oh, we saw that during World War II."
Yeah.
And who knows about Vietnam and everything? Seems like every time, even during the nuclear crisis, it seems like UFOs are being seen around all the test sites and all the missile launch sites and all that, all around the world.
Well, and this is their thing, even on this Expedition X episode. Seems like a lot of the things that happened, Roswell to Area 51 to this Catalina situation, they were all around our nuclear testing facility or sites, whatever. So what does that mean? I mean, I don't know. It's just
are they monitoring us?
That's just it. Are they that intelligent that they're watching what we're doing to see if maybe they're going to use it against us and somehow destroy ourselves? I mean, I don't that's a far-fetched
Are they taking bets
idea.
On which one's going to blow up the other one? Who's going to start it now?
I don't know, man. But it's just always around reported. If you go back and look, there's all around nuclear sites. Well, for the U.S. anyway. I don't know about, and I'm sure it's out there as far as even in the whole world. There's a lot of these claims of these UFOs flying around.
Well, even Columbus's navigation book, in his captain's log,
sure,
he even wrote like the night before he found America, or he found land.
Caribbean?
He was actually talking about a strange light that was in the sky that was actually following them in a way. He saw a bright, strange light in the sky. Here was something that was significant to history about ready to happen. Who's to say they weren't just monitoring?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It was just swamp gas,
Charles says Russia admits nothing, which is pretty much true. And Carl says that we're just a basketball game for them. I think more of a tennis match to see back and forth. Who's going to go? Who's going to kill who first?
And it's everybody pointing fingers at the next person. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. I'm going to blow you up.
So do you think, and all this crazy shit, do you think it's real? I mean, other than the footage, things I can't explain. We talk about the Black Knight in space, whatever.
I think there is a large amount of truth to it all. There's something that's going on. I don't think our government is... Everybody, puts so much credit to the government. The government knows everything. Government knows everything. I don't really like to think that they do. Because, there's a lot of things that we can't stop. There's a lot of things that we don't have a lot of control of. And,
right.
it's not Hollywood. We like to watch movies and think, and we've got this super government that knows every little detail of every moment. I don't think that is absolutely true there. We love to believe that from our own fiction of life when we watch TV and all that stuff. If we take ourselves away from that and we're actually thinking reality, there's so much stuff going on around us that we don't know.
Of course.
That we don't know, that I think is happening. You can't discredit all the eyewitnesses who have seen either the creatures themselves to the actual crafts themselves. I've watched interviews with people who are scared to even talk about what they walked up on.
Sure.
I was watching a documentary on Area 51 where a U.S. soldier, he was out there, he was part of security. And he said, I'm retired. There's still things I can't talk about.
Yeah.
But he said, and they said, okay, but you've mentioned, and they're interviewing him, you've mentioned that you've went over to a hangar and you said that you noticed that the door was ajar.
Right.
And it shouldn't have been. It should have been locked up tight, and it was one of the most secure, one of the many secured buildings.
Yeah.
And you went over there and you opened it up. What did you see? He goes, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
And they said, did you see a UFO? I saw something to that effect.
Sure.
And he's just like, I can't, it was beyond, it was beyond my knowledge.
So what if this UFO is just a highly classified military ship or something that they're working on that looks odd in shape, or
Could be.
but to us, the naked eye, that
I mean, he went as far as saying that it was, basically it was UFO in his mind.
Sure.
But I don't know. Eyewitnesses are, I mean, for those who really stick true to their top secret clearance, and they're not going to, say anything. My brother's the same way.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his top secret clearance, and he's just like, there are certain things I can't do. Yeah. Can't say, can't talk about. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
I swore an oath, and I can't.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, which is cool. But, man, there's so many eyewitnesses to so many things, but people in a whole, when you get a group of people, do they see the same thing? Individually, are you better off with what you see? That's the thing.
Right.
People in a mass are kind of stupid. When you get an individual who sees something, it's more personal almost.
Sure.
Case in point is the fact that they did a whole experiment on Roswell.
Right.
They set up these little stations out there in the desert, behind rocks and stuff like that. They had certain things. And they took a group of people on a bus and they drove. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, they'd look out. They didn't know why they were out there.
Sure.
And they look out the window and they're like, they just passed a UFO, crashed in the, it's crashed, and they see a little alien standing next to it, who's moving around and kind of waving.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they take another group, and it's totally different, Now it's like a different shaped of a craft. Maybe almost could have been like a helicopter or a plane or something, but you got a U.S. soldier who's standing out there with, his helmet on and everything, and they just all kind of came up with the same thing. Well, I saw a creature. I saw this. I saw that. And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My point is like, there's so much out there that's happening at one time. I don't like to discredit the one person that saw something, but a huge amount of people who see something, I don't know if I trust them.
Yeah.
Because they all will talk and tell different stories when they do it.
And hear what other people are maybe saying and maybe play off of theirs.
But when you got one individual who's, like Betty and Barney Hill, I do trust them more than I do trust other people when they come to their incident, because they never wavered on what happened to them.
Yeah.
Travis Walton never wavered.
Right.
He's never changed his story, not once.
But isn't Travis Walton a little odd, though?
I don't know.
I think he is the real. I mean, not with the movie portrayed, and we're talking about what's it called, Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the real guy. He's just a little different, they say.
I don't know.
That, but I've never seen him or met him, obviously, personally.
No.
But he goes to some of the conventions that we...
He does talks and stuff like that. For a long time, he never took any money until he finally wrote his own book.
Right.
But years later,
Yeah.
Many years later, he didn't, capitalize on any of it for a long time. Right. And the thing is all of his friends who were there, well, his acquaintances, co-workers, who were a witness to it all,
right?
Their story never changed either.
Yeah.
And to this day, they kept it that way. And none of them are making any money off of it, so...
Right, exactly. Some of the viewers saying, like Charles said, I bet some of it could be just an experimental aircraft. But he said, but what about the ones that are not? I mean, in theory, that's possible.
Are we experimenting with stuff? Hell yes, we are. We always are. I mean, even from Roswell on, our technology's just skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. Is there a coincidence? Could be.
Maybe.
Because we didn't break the sound barrier was something that we said that we couldn't do until after 47.
Right.
So then after that, we're breaking the sound barrier a few months later, and boom, we're just doing all kinds of new things.
Yeah.
And we got new, the spy plane. We got all kinds of stuff that's happening.
Sure.
And our technology has just skyrocketed since then. Who's to say we didn't actually get something that was either, shared with us, or we stole, or, we just recovered it.
Yeah.
From them. And, I don't know.
I don't either. Barbara earlier made a point too. She said when we talk about the Navy guy with clearance, or whoever the military person in general says.
Yeah.
Basically, when you talk about to somebody about a thing, incident, whatever, they go, "Well, I can't really tell you that."
Yeah.
She said, wasn't that kind of like giving you confirmation that he does know something similar?
It was
I would agree with that.
Kind of in a way he was answering when he said that. He was kind of like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. I saw this.
Yeah. And there was another one too. What was the one in the comment I saw that? She's talking about. Bree was talking about the guy on the deathbed. You always hear about some of the guys on the deathbed are willing to tell some of their stories to a sibling or whatever, And she was talking about a show she had watched with a guy that had a clearance, top security clearance, and on his deathbed admitted to his son that he had seen not only a UFO but also an extraterrestrial that was alive and basically watched it die. I remember seeing a couple of those too. I know some of the footage out there are fake, but I remember seeing something like that, hearing that story also too.
You got the nurse that disappeared from the night of the Roswell crash.
Right.
You have the mortician who had to build the little children coffins and deliver it to the base. Yeah. I mean, those aren't made up stories. Those are stories that have been well known for a long time. And the mortician even gave his reports about it. And why was that happening? They weren't burying the dummies from the weather balloon experiment, So
the infamous weather balloon.
Yeah. So.
Plus, we got that. Was it in '72 that we got that radio transmission from space that nobody can figure out where it came from, and when we heard it the one time.
What is it? The WOW signal?
Yeah.
Wasn't it called that?
I think so.
Yeah, it was a radio signal that they tried to pinpoint and recreate it, or communicate back to it, and they waited again, and since then never heard it again. But that one time there's a signal that shot back to us that just freaked them all out.
Yep. It says received on August 15th, 1977 by the Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope in the U.S.
What month?
August 15th, 1977.
I was going to say, it was because it was my birth, No, I'm kidding. That was September.
Said it lasted that's right, at 72. It lasted a full 72 seconds.
That's 72 seconds.
I was thinking
That's a long time for a signal that is coming from space,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, but they've only heard it that one time, and it's never been translated again. Or it's never been heard again, or detected again, should I say. Trying to see if there's anything. The reason I bring that up is just because it's, where did it come from, and what did it mean, or and why haven't we heard it again?
Right.
I mean, was it a different universe? Who knows? I mean,
right. And then going with Carl, you're right. You would have to know how it works and everything before you reverse engineer it and everything. But what if they had help? Because there is rumors that one of the aliens, or two of them, were even possibly still alive,
right,
and actually worked with them. Then you have, Eisenhower, who supposedly met with aliens when he disappeared for those 3 days, and everything. Supposedly he went off to meet and negotiate with them. Who knows?
I don't remember that story that well, but now you say that, I kind of.
We talked about it not that long ago. Just kind of mentioned it on the podcast.
I'm looking. Hang on. It's called Ike and the Alien Ambassadors. Said 50 years ago not 50 years ago, I'm sorry. This is when the article came out. It's longer than that now at this point. It was on February 20th, 1954. Said he interrupted his vacation in Palm Springs, California to make a secret nocturnal trip to a nearby Air Force base to meet two extraterrestrial aliens. Trying to see if there's anything of significance to this. Okay, that was weird. It said on that night in question, the Associated Press reported this specific headline, that President Eisenhower died tonight of a heart attack in Palm Springs. But then 2 minutes later, the AP retracted that bulletin and reported that Ike was still alive. Matter of fact, he continued living on until 1969. But there's just been some strange theories about what happened that night and what he did. They were nicknamed Nordics because they resembled Scandinavian humans. But here's the thing, though, and this is kind of goes along with the theory that you always see the renditions of aliens with the rounder head, the darker eyes,
right.
and no mouth.
Right.
So everything was offered telepathic through communication. It's just like, how though? Like, are we hearing their voices in our heads? Is it people that are interacting with these creatures?
I think we're hearing it, but we still speak out loud.
Yeah.
But I think they're looking at us, and kind of like Betty and Barney Hill. They claim that they did not see their mouths move, but they could hear them talking.
They could understand them, yeah.
And what if that's just how much smarter and, I mean, they're beyond us, obviously. If you're able to travel from space to here without any problems or issues, and you're, probing cows and doing stuff like that, you're way beyond us. You're way beyond us. I mean, we're still fueling up at the gas station and, changing tires and stuff like that, whereas they're just flying in and out of our atmosphere.
Now, this is interesting. This article talks about the Nordics offered up to share their superior technology and their spiritual wisdom with Ike if he would agree to eliminate America's nuclear weapons. This goes back to the whole theory of what I've been telling you. They always have all these sightings around nuclear.
What if they're ready to take them down if they are launched? If we go to war in an aspect, I know we dropped one, but if we're launching them, what if they just go to shoot them down? What if it's like, no, you're not going to play with that? It's like...
Yeah, and according to this, it says they were afraid that we might blow up some of our nuclear technology. And apparently that does something to time and space, and it impacts on extraterrestrial races. I read that wrong. And apparently that does something to time and space, and it impacts on extraterrestrial races on other planets.
Interesting.
So they're saying that if we were to launch these nuclear weapons as we did once before, that it does something to time and space. I don't know.
Well, I mean... For Jeremy to, my idea of why I always think that they're more superior than us is because their ability to do things with just their aircraft alone,
if they're
traveling from planets to planets,
right.
they're way beyond us already. If they're coming here, so
right.
If they're living in the ocean in a way that we've never been able to on our own planet, that's already above us. If they're talking to us in a telepathic way, that's already above us.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we always like to think that we are the superior ones in the universe?
Because we're egotistical?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I hate the idea that we like to think we're the center of the universe and everything. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I've never believed that. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I stand on the whole thing as far as intelligence goes, as far as them. I mean, I can see why people would think that, it's like we just talked about, because of the fact they can travel, and we can't. I mean, we take us years to get here, and who knows how long it takes them.
It takes 3 days just to get to the moon.
Right.
Just on our own accord, but
right.
It's going to take how long, how many months just to get to Mars? I think it's like 3 to 4 months.
I know at one point it used to be like 5 years or something like that. I thought.
Is it 5 years?
I don't know. I mean, that was back, but now that they got different technology, who knows? I mean,
I thought it was shorter than that.
I can't remember. I mean, which just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Okay, thank you. You can type faster than I can.
Okay, this has changed since then. It says a trip to Mars would take about 7 months.
7 months?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought it was months, but not... I didn't think it was years.
I don't know. I mean, granted, that's... Can we make it as humans there in 7 months? I mean...
We don't know.
I mean, when
we've never done it.
I mean...
We think we can. We come up with ideas and ways that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but... I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think that, us humans can travel for 7 months, get out there, not really know how it's going to go when you get there, just to turn around and come back? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. That'd be wild. I know the people they're talking about going that route and whatever else. I mean, we're trying to really get back to the moon now.
I know.
I mean,
yeah.
Which we should never probably stop or whatever. I mean, I think we did all we could at that point.
At the time, and then, other things came up and new stuff, and they wanted to explore immediately, and we built our station out there, and, along with the other countries. We did, the International Space Station. Been doing studies out there since, but...
Yeah, Rhea wants to know, would you do it? Would you go to Mars?
Would I go to Mars?
Mm-hmm.
If I was single and had a lot of Dramamine, yes. Yes, I would.
Would you?
What?
Would you?
Why not?
I'm just asking, would you?
Yeah, why not?
I mean...
7 months. It's just 7 months. 7 months to come back. Why not? But I don't know. I wouldn't do it, I'm not single now.
Right.
But if I was single, had no prospect of family around and stuff like that, it'd be 7 months there, 7 months back, however long there too, and have a chance to see something that no one else has seen in person from our planet that we know of.
Yeah.
That we know of.
I wouldn't go. That's just me.
No?
No. I just don't... I mean, it's cool and all. I like looking at videos from there, from Rover and all stuff that they've sent up there. That's pretty fascinating. And
I mean...
the sounds and stuff, it's just...
Think about some of the weird things that could happen while you're out traveling that far, Well, who's to say, you're videotaping out the windows and stuff like that, and you could, capture, other ships that fly by. Who's to say that?
But I don't even like to fly in airplanes. You think I want to go fly in
I know. I don't like to fly either, That's why I said you have to drug me up. You have to drug me up, just, wake me up enough to go to the bathroom and get something to drink and eat, and then knock me back out. But but to get there, it would be pretty awesome.
Well, and here's the thing, though. It's so damn cold on there, temperature-wise.
It looks so warm and cozy,
But I'm just saying, look out the temperature itself. Are you going to trust that we've figured it out? We're smart.
The best suits and everything.
Take a step on Mars and then instantly you die. I mean, I don't know.
That's when they go.
Hands and somebody else's.
That's when NASA's like, well, we know that for next time.
Right. I have no desire. I'll stay here. I mean, I'll live my remaining years out on Earth, hopefully.
Yeah, but you remember the was it Japan or China? First astronaut up in space, solo mission.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that long ago. Right. I mean, it was several years ago, but it wasn't that long ago. He was up there by himself, and he was the first from his country to do it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he kept hearing.
Yeah.
On his.
As it knocked right next to me.
I know, I heard that too. But he heard he heard a knock on the shell of a ship, and he's like, okay, I forget it. And he kept hearing it.
Right.
Kept hearing as if somebody's outside knocking on the door.
Right.
Took him forever to actually look out the window just to see if any, because he's actually expecting to see someone out there.
Creature, being, or something.
He didn't even tell anybody until he got home,
right.
And he was freaking out about it. He was like, "There's someone knocking on my ship." They said it could have been ice, could have been, but he said it sounded just like a normal.
So is it a ghost? Is it the spirits, or is it aliens, or is it just wind, or
just alien fucking with him?
I mean, why not?
Hey, he's by himself. Let's do this finally. We didn't do it the first time they were out here alone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing to go up with a crew, but be solo up there, fuck that. There's no way.
It's the long lost chimp that we sent out there knocking, like, hey, I'm out of bananas. Let me in.
Yeah, Rhea. She said, we're here to talk about your car's extended warranty.
Shit.
That never gets old, Rhea. Thank you for sharing
that.
When she brings it up. She's dropped it on a couple of times on the show, and it makes me laugh.
I was waiting on a phone call from someone from work, and I never answer my phone. If I don't know a number, never answer it.
Sure.
I see it, and I'm like, nope. I don't care if it's 316. Nope. But I was waiting on a phone call. Finally, I was like, okay, this has to be the employee. So I clicked on it. It was the frickin' warranty. I kid you not. Hey, I want to talk about... I just hung up. I was like, son of a...
Bree, I was thinking that, Bree. I'm glad you said it. When we talked about ghosts in space, she said space ghost. That's what I was thinking too. I was going to say the same thing, and she beat me to it.
The black hood and everything.
Yeah. But space ghost is pretty freaking cool, actually. If
Yeah,
watching the TV show.
so what's your thoughts on that?
Which, space ghost or
Ghosts in space.
I mean, I don't know.
Ghosts in space. We're not out there enough.
Right.
Wonder if any of the people on the International Space Station has ever had weird things. They've videotaped weird objects out in
Sure.
space. They've seen objects flying toward Earth and then all of a sudden shooting off. But you know
Was
what?
that part of the gravitational pull though? That's bringing in debris, space debris,
Could be.
and then it's just bouncing right off because it can't. Or I don't know.
I
I'm making up shit.
I don't know.
But
what's okay? So we're having all this paranormal activity here on Earth.
are we?
Maybe.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You know damn well. We're having all that here. So what about out there? Who's to say that he didn't have a paranormal incident out there?
Right.
You know, he's by himself. He's working on stuff, and all of a sudden, you know, hello, I'm outside.
Trying to figure out. I heard that they do use people's remains out in space.
I know you can like launch yourself out in space. Gene Roddenberry's body or remains are out there.
Who?
Gene Roddenberry?
What the hell is that?
You don't know Gene Roddenberry?
I don't know if I do.
He's the creator of Star Trek.
Oh, then no. I'm a Star
No,
Trek
his
fan.
ashes were shot out into space, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, along with a few other people at the time. They like did it in one big thing. So he's forever. His ashes, I believe, are forever out in space. Yeah, send.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to look what.
But no, so I mean, but what do you think? You know, I mean, if we're all connected, and even our planet is connected to our galaxy, to the universe, it's got to be the same things happening in a way. It's not just us. I mean, we're not just like haunting ourselves. I mean.
So then, with that notion, do you think aliens are coming to Earth or walk among us? Because it's the exact opposite.
What if the so-called demons is actually alien ghosts? You know, coming around to screw with you.
It's Bigfoot. Rhea said Jehovah's Witness ghost.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, talk about our Lord and Savior. Yep. I mean, that's what was knocking on the outside of the space shuttle, or this, what's it called? Space station. Sorry. A1 calling. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are here amongst us now. I mean, maybe they are the Bigfoots, the illustrious creature that walks and disappears. You know, maybe it's the shape-shifting people that you hear about, the lizard people. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's you and I.
Is it all connected? Is it all somewhat connected?
I don't know.
You got alien ghosts and alien, you know.
Right.
What if alien, some of the creatures and demon monsters and everything we see on the planet and claim we see is not just, you know, creatures that were dumped here by aliens?
I don't know. Couldn't know we've captured two different things on camera that we can't explain, that don't look ghost-like, that look...
You're talking about a few months ago?
One more recently, one in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They're these creatures, they're shapeshifters or whatever you want to call them. They're these weird, oblong, tall, in one case, real tall, like 7 foot tall. But it wasn't Bigfoot. It wasn't...
I can't wait for you to actually share that video with people.
I just don't know, man. I don't know what we saw.
Whatever it was, you saw something.
I saw the face.
You caught the video.
And that's why story is, I'll give a little glimpse into this. We were out investigating at a location. I saw this glowing white face, so you hear me on camera go, "Oh my God, I just saw somebody's face."
First you said, "Get out of here." You said, "Get out of here."
Oh yeah, my reaction's genuine. I go,
"Get out of here." Did I just see that? I think I saw.
So I turn my camera in the direction of, and I see this thing inadvertently walk away. And,
as if getting away, because you said get away. Get out of here.
Get out of here. And I don't know what it was. We go back and review the evidence.
Because you saw a face,
mm-hmm.
but it not only was it like right there in this coming from this hole from behind plastic.
Right.
It was like looking at you, but you said, get out of here, and your camera's already there. It like stands up and is even way taller than you.
The reason we know the height is because I immediately tell Dan to go walk over there.
Yeah.
Because he has these...
He's got his binocular thing.
As I call them, they're these night vision goggles that he wears occasionally. He walks over there, and I can tell from his point of reference how tall Dan is to where this thing was, and this thing's way taller. And it's crazy. I don't know what it is, man. I've slowed it down. I've taken screenshots of it, frame by frame, and I don't know what it is. They want us to show.
I know. We can't, because the fact that we are working on our own like DVD, so we can actually like get stuff out there. Kind of our combination of some cases and work, and share it with the world and everything, and kind of like in episodes and stuff like that. But we want to do it on DVD. But that's kind of the thing. We want to really work on this, and because I watched the video, and we've paused it in here for so many times, and we pinpointed it like, oh my God, what the hell is that? You know, and it just doesn't, it doesn't make any sense for what it looks like.
No.
Especially there in, you know.
Well, I don't even know how to explain it, because I think we've encountered it multiple times there, a second time.
Probably. This is the first time, though, seeing it on camera, though.
It's just weird, the fact that I saw something prior to that and, like, peering out at me, and that's what was weird. That's why I had that genuine knee-jerk reaction of, I could get out of here. Not telling it to leave. I wish I wouldn't have said that in hindsight.
I mean, you were kind of, like, in a shocked way saying it. You were like, get out of here. Did I just see that? I just saw a face over there.
Usually I'd have a cuss word.
Bree's like, sneak preview.
I know, and we shouldn't have brought it up because we've been holding on to it for a while, and we said we're just trying to get something together, and part of it's that we have to get permission to. I mean, we
don't have to say where it happened at.
You're right.
We don't. No one in the world would even know where it's at besides us.
Right, that's true.
You know, I there's ways around like not having to like disclose the location that we're doing it at and everything, because this is like a phenomenal catch that I don't think we should. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold back on it. I think we need to like show the world and all that.
And there's the best part, like I said, was Dan. I had Dan go immediately over to that area to because the reason I would have gone myself, but Dan had the goggles on, so he goes over there.
He was already like walking over, and you were like, right there.
And the thing is, he pulls that plastic away, and then nothing's there.
Nothing's there, and then you measured like where you saw features and stuff, and it just like towered over us.
Bruce says you tease.
I do. I like teasing it because I just love to tell stories too. But no, it was just phenomenal because I knew you saw something.
Yeah.
Didn't know the impact until you had us come in during the podcast. Right. You know, we were getting ready for a podcast one night, and you're like, dude, you got to see this. And you played it, and oh my God.
That's just it. We don't know what we capture. We see things, we hear things, and we're out recording, whether it be video, audio, until we go back and do the review of it. And sometimes some of the best, I can tell you right now, some of the best stuff I've heard, sound-wise, voice-wise, whatever, doesn't translate to audio all the time. Or, you know, the video, whatever. You see something with your own eyes. Multiple people see this thing. We had a case recently where you weren't a part of because you had something else going on that night, and we went to this place, and
because you guys never tell me anything, left me behind.
I knew. You knew, but you had other prior engagements. But we were there, and we were filming. Well, I'm always filming, whatever, recording, filming, and I thought I lost that footage. I watched it recently, and it's there. Well, the footage is there. I see this thing, and I don't say what it is in the moment. I just go, "What the hell?" And Jay goes, "What'd you see? What'd you see?" I'm like. And I kind of hesitate because it's pitch black, and I see this black, tall creature with these bright red eyes peer out of the darkness, and I'm like, holy shit, what is this thing in front of me? And at the same time, Jake and I both say, I go, why, did you see something? He goes, yeah, I seen it. I was like, you saw that, and we both at the same time say, the thing with the red eyes. We both saw it. He saw it from a different angle. I saw it head on. He could see it coming out of this wall or this area basically where it came right at us. Thing is, I don't see it on camera, and I thought I lost that footage because I looked for it after the fact and it wasn't there, and now all of a sudden it's here, and I don't know why, and it's nothing shows up on camera. But we have 2 witnesses that we don't interact until
it's the Men in Black.
Too many what?
It's the Men in Black. They just wiped it out.
No,
took it away.
I don't know what it was.
They took it, edited.
I'll tell you what, everybody, and I'll tell you what my honest opinion and what I thought it was, but only because I laugh it off. But
Mothman?
No, it's
okay.
Well, I mean, that's what it looked like. Honestly, going to be no kidding aside. I mean,
really?
This black dark thing out of the shadows, and it was red-eyed,
right?
And it was inside a house. It wasn't outside.
Is this a private home, right?
It's something that they've never seen that they know of, and it freaked them out when they were just telling us where this is in your house. That they said they were just gonna go out and grab something to eat that night. It was like 3 a.m, and they never came back. So we scared them off that night. They're their own house, not intentional. It's just the fact that we saw this thing. But you always hear about shadow people. Everybody immediately goes demonic, and it's not demonic necessarily. It's just shadow people. Shadow people. Let's be honest. Red eyes to give it an extra, thing, whatever. Where oh my God, it's got to be a demon because of these red eyes.
It's scary.
The worst. And that popped in my mind that night just because of all the stories of all the people who claims and stuff like that. I've seen enough shadow people in my lifetime. I've seen things with red eyes shining multiple times, inside and outside of locations. I don't think it's either one of them. I just immediately popped in my head. But it was bizarre, I'll tell you that much. And I saw it twice. The weird thing was, Jake and I saw it, Roth and the homeowners like, what are you guys looking at? Because I saw it again. I pointed it out, and Jake goes, yeah, there it is. And when we said it again, we saw it a second time, but it had backed off because we had saw it and it saw us and vice versa. Roth and them came up behind me and we're pointing at it where it's at, and they don't see it though. So I don't know what that means. Roth or the homeowner didn't see it, but Jake and I both saw it twice. So I don't know what that means. It means we were just fortunate enough to see it. Is it pinpointing us 2 out, or is it calling us 2 out in a way that some kind of form? I don't know. We've had 2 weird incidences like this where we were doing a voice box session and it kept calling out Jake, not in this location, it's somewhere else, and it kept calling Jake out and it kept kind of taunting him, and then it taunted me the next day, whatever, the same thing. And it kept telling us it's a demon, it kept telling us its name, and it kept saying it.
I remember that.
It kept mimicking voices, like Jake's voice. It kept calling Jake's wife out, and it was just bizarre. Now, I don't know if this is the same thing, if it's following us location, I don't know. Who knows? It's just bizarre. The fact that
who's to say it's not
this weird shit.
Who's to say it hasn't been following us for quite a while?
And that's just I don't know where this thing comes from. Cause I've been in some weird things,
right?
Weird places and weird things. Things have followed me back from weird locations before. Yes, I mean we can't stop that. We can always hope to protect ourselves.
It's never called out Dan, right?
But this location has been known to mimic our voices, whether the person
but you
there
know
or not.
Where we've all who is it mimicked or called out?
It's mimicked Roth.
Okay.
It's mimicked Jake.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else it's mimicked.
Called you out?
Oh yeah, it's said it by my name.
But not Dan?
No.
You know where we've all been that Dan's never been?
Tahlequah.
There you go.
Yeah. But Jake hasn't either though.
Yeah,
well,
he
went
did.
On his own. That's right.
They went to the cemetery.
And
him and Elizabeth got out and walked it.
Yeah,
remember?
Right.
And some weird things happened.
Yeah. Which I wish Elizabeth would come on the show and tell us
her
stories, but she won't. We've asked before and she won't.
Well, which is fine, and I totally understand that totally. But it's just weird that you bring it up. That's.
I didn't think about that.
They've been there, we've been there, and it's called. We've had something calling us out.
Yeah. Right.
And Jake and Elizabeth were actually the most recent people to actually go out there from the group.
Yeah. Huh. Never thought about that. I don't know. Which is funny because there's the arm from Tahlequah
I know.
on the table. I've been watching that devil head in front of it.
Yeah.
It's probably just me. I know it's turned since the start of the show. But I feel like it's looked different ways, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. maybe it's just my eyes, whatever. But I swear it's been angled different throughout the show. And I've been watching you when you
because I keep doing this, but that's just me being, fidgety and stuff with the
what I need to
tablecloth.
start doing is measuring stuff, like putting stuff out, like salt, whatever.
What we should do is and also take pictures of some of this stuff before the show and then after the show.
Yeah, I laughed. That thing just turned all of a sudden, looked at me. Which I'd be okay with. I wouldn't freak out about it.
You're always wanting dolls to look at you.
Oh, dude. Well, I just want things to move all the times. Yeah, because do we get scared? Of course. I mean, we're humans.
Well,
we get startled, but I mean, it doesn't scare me per se.
I've been asked, do I get scared anymore when I do stuff? I'm like, well, some places, certain things, I do. People's homes, maybe not so much. I don't know why. I feel comfortable going to people's homes and just doing it. I do. But it's when I'm going to, like, the shop or historical places, that has a lot of energy from historical stuff, or like the shop had so many antiques there, and just some of the things that or even the church, the Hillside Church. I always a little freaked out every time I walked in there.
That place always gave me the creeps. Just
because I honestly knew I was never alone there.
No.
I remember sitting in a chair in that church downstairs in the basement. It's one of those lounge chairs that they had. I'm just sitting there, back, and I think I had my brother next to me, just sitting just a few feet away.
Sure.
And on this side of me, I felt the hand just like come and just hold me, just hold my arm, everything. And I'm just like, you're still sitting over here, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, someone's holding my arm right now. It's just that I always knew I was never alone there. And it always kind of freaked me out. And I hated it when I had like doing the tours at the very beginning. Oh, God, yeah. But I'd have the tour, right? And I've had the bus. And before I would take anybody into the church off that bus, Nicole would get out, run into the church by herself, unlock it, turn on the lights, and run back out. And I'm like, more power to you.
She's braver than I was.
Yeah, more power to you. But, ever since she had her first incident there, she was, like, strong, like, bring it on, because she freaked out the first time. It's something that whispered in her ear. She was good to go after that. But I think that happens to a lot of us. The first time I ever had something happen to me, like in, probably
Gloria, I was going to say.
Yeah, with the whole rocking chair thing. Oh, yeah, since then I've been, like, just die hard. I want to dive into it. You're not going to scare me off. I might be a little freaked out, but you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
But...
yeah. I think one of my favorite times, we're talking about, we used to go to the Forum Theater, which Jason was talking about. We used to have access to it, and then it got sold. I think one of my favorite times was on a public investigation. It was Claire and I sitting down in the basement with a group of people, and there's a wheelchair down there that just showed up one day. I mean, it's probably always there, but I don't know why it was out that night.
I don't think I ever remember seeing one, but you're right. It's probably always there.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and we had some things going on, we're trying to get stuff stirred up, and then, so I don't remember if it was one of us, Claire or I, that asked, probably me, I like to stir shit up. I just asked, if you're here, tap that wheelchair and we'll leave you alone, we'll get out of here, and sure as shit, bing! And okay, and everybody's like, oh! The group, yes, they're like freaked out, and I was like, oh, I asked.
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word, I'll get out of there.
Yeah.
I'll leave. I said I'll leave if you made that noise, sure as shit. On command, something hit it. There was nothing, and the thing is, because it's a public investigation, you always have guests that have their flashlights on, so they could see with their own eyes. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
There was no gadget, nothing that triggered it. It was whatever it was, and they were kind of circled around and far enough away from it that they couldn't even touch it if they wanted to. So,
I guess I take that back. There's only one house that actually has ever freaked me out, and that was the Hutch house.
Oh, the murder house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just when that damn tote moved, and I was brand new on the team, and I kind of called her out. Everyone's being like so sad to her and comforting to her, and then I call her out and kind of like, do you know how many people you freaking hurt? Do you feel proud about what you've done?
Yeah.
You might have been the one who was murdered, but think about all the people you hurt, man. That tote went flying up against the wall.
Yeah.
I fell backwards. I guess the look on my face was just pure shock and terror. And the only thing that came out of my mouth was, fuck.
I just wish we had
Yeah.
video of that. I know. I was before.
You got the audio
The
of it,
audio's
right?
there, and you can hear the thing slide, and you can hear Jason's reaction. It's also the same area you got locked in there at the door, or whatever.
Yeah, the second time. I went down there to take a picture and just be
Right.
nice, and I was gonna take a picture of the site of where she died, and
Sure.
yeah, she slammed that door on me and just scared the crap out of me.
Or somebody did.
What's that?
You said she. I said somebody did.
Well, the only thing I could think of it was her, because I was like, hey, I'm just down here to put my recorder, and and I made sure that door was open, and I made sure no one else was down there.
It was on carpet, right?
Oh, very thick carpet. So that door had to be
Have it
shoved.
yourself. You mean it had to be forced or removed.
But before I walk in any room, and if I'm doing an investigation, I'm always like tapping doors just to make sure, is it going to close on me if I walk in here? Yeah. It's just a natural occurrence I do. I'm like, I just want to be sure, that for one, it's not going to do it, and somebody, or just me walking by is going to do it, and then I freak out saying, oh, it's paranormal. No, it's just the wind, stupid. But no, I always do that. I always tap the door to make sure, okay, you're open, you're not going to close. Right. But I did that, and I did that on that one, and sure enough, that door just went bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it scared the crap out of me. I run out of there. I dropped my I think I dropped my camera, which luckily didn't break because you have it. That one.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Did it get back to you?
No, that's all right. I want you to download those.
Did.
Oh, did you? Okay. Because on that camera is the pictures from inside that room. Where,
oh, really?
Yeah, because I got the... you didn't know that? Yeah, I've got those on there.
Nice.
It's the actual blood stains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from the... Yeah.
I did not know that. Here, I've been sitting on them forever.
Yes, you have. You've been sitting there.
I don't remember where it's at. I have them here.
That's all right. We can do it for another time.
Yeah.
But,
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, it was just crazy just how that all went down for me. And so that house freaked me out. But ever since then, I haven't really been nervous in people's homes. I'm there. We're usually there with the owners. You know, I've got team members with me. I feel comfortable. Maybe that's the reason why I never hear shit or see anything. I don't know.
I mean, the only place that really freaked me out was Tahlequah because, the Forum Theater did because I used to, like I said, one of the very first times I was there and kind of new to the group still, and I remember Claire asking me, hey, Leo, go up and run this cable up to that, by the pastor's room and, get this camera set up, put it wherever you want. And I'm like, by myself?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. And I did up there, and I could just hear things and see things, of course, and this is where the growls had come from and all that crap, too, so that didn't help. Well, then, fast forward to another time when it was Jeremiah up there, and Jeremiah's part deaf in one ear.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we hear this loud growl, just roar, loud.
Yeah.
I look at him, and we look at each other, and I'm like, you heard that, right? And he's like, yeah, I heard that. I'm like, okay, I'm glad you're with me, because I've been shit myself right now. So, that gave me the heebie-jeebies. But the place that scared me was Tahlequah because of the thing I talked about, I think, a couple episodes ago, where I'm staring outside and towards the back of the inside the house where the brothers had, where they were scratched and all that stuff, and the thing rushed me, whatever, from outside. I could see this black shadow thing come running at me, and you can hear it on cameras. I'm like, holy shit! And I take a step back because I don't know where it went in the room or if it just came to the door because I broke contact with it as far as eye contact. But that scared the shit out of me.
Man, every time I went upstairs and had to go past the pastor's study, I always would start jogging and get a little faster as I go past it because every time I glance over, I'm just expecting to see, some guy standing in there staring right back at me, like a horror movie, and then he'll make chase and, I'll die going down the stairs. But
just have to click on the right one.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, that's
it. We'll do that another time.
Yeah.
I just have to click on the right picture.
That's cool. That's my
Yeah.
famous little freak out. That story is actually in Kathy's book. The Kathy Ramirez's Where's the Ghost? The Trials and Tribulations of Ghost Hunting.
Yep.
She has my story in that.
Nice.
It's just a small little
story,
but it's funny. She kind of, laughs at me for, don't call out spirits basically when you're a newbie. Basically.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Just we've seen some weird shit over the years. That, like I said, I always make a point that I can't believe been so fortunate to be interacting with some things. And going back to original point tonight, I don't know if
I want to see a UFO.
Well, I mean, I saw those lights.
I know. I want to see. I mean, I've seen some weird things in the sky that I cannot.
Starlink.
What's that?
Starlink.
Oh man, that was fun, wasn't it?
He sent me that. Jason went on he was out
camping trip
one night.
Yeah.
And he thought he saw UFOs.
Well, at first it was just so weird, but I didn't think about it until like, soon as you were like texting me, I'm like, oh god, yeah, that was right. But no, I got to actually see the SpaceX lights up in the. I was in Missouri.
Yeah.
I look up and everybody in the campground was freaking out and pointing up, and I was just like, oh my god, look at that, No, it was just stupid SpaceX doing their thing.
Let's go.
But
yeah, I've never been out. I've been to LA many times. I've never been out to Catalina. I'm not a fan of boats. Once again, and that's how you get out there. Is a big boat. It takes a couple hours to get over there, so it's just like I think I'll pass.
What's over there on it?
People living there. It's just a island. Half of it. Some of it's inhabited.
Like the rich.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Must be if you have your own boat to get back and forth. But,
true.
And I think there's some military stuff out there too. But
there always is.
But and then some of it's just unexplored territory. So who knows?
It's always the government over there saying it's not real. It's not what you think. As you see an alien walk by, it's not real.
Oh my gosh. We need a bigger boat, Carl says.
Helicopter.
Hell no. Because in Expedition X, they take a helicopter out there, and
Yeah.
it's fucking dropping like crazy because of the turbulence.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that's why I don't want to fly, because I've been through some bad turbulence before.
Me too, yeah.
Because where I was going to die that night, because it was a bad electrical storm, and oh my god, you hear the plane dropping, it's like, oh my god, you're hearing pockets and shit, and I'm just like, no thanks, I'm done with this, but I've flown since then multiple times.
Yeah, I flew back from Minnesota to Wichita, and the whole time we were coming into Wichita, it was a huge thunderstorm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the plane, I mean, you saw people in the aisles, like, actually bent over, crying and praying.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked over, and even my boss was, like, praying and,
Mm-hmm.
Just saying his last, and I'm like, are we really going down? Because the plane just kept,
Yeah.
Is
that a big plane?
It was pretty huge.
See, I've been in a smaller plane, so I couldn't imagine
This
a big
this
plane.
thing was just, oh, man.
This
Oh,
one
yeah.
was I think it was where you had a seat on each side, and just a straight cabin.
I had like 2 or 3 seats here, and same over there, and it's like, oh god, it was horrible. And I've only flown once since then.
Really?
So yeah.
I've flown I don't know how many times since then. I don't like it, but yeah, it sucks. Goes in front of the Jason. The camera just went blurry. Nobody's touching any camera.
Oh.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
That's what a Tahlequah baby arm
That's
is.
the baby arm.
I don't think anything else up there is haunted other than the book. There's a couple books up there that have been.
Be awesome if the little figure here, the priest, like turned around and looked at me.
There is stuff. Tripod and stuff I see over there, and these mics have been in a lot of locations. So yeah, possibly.
Am I using my hands too much to talk, and it's causing issues?
What the hell did you do? No, that thing's double-edged. Hang on.
Sorry.
What just happened? That was weird. Gotta figure out how to fix that.
Well, we got 15 minutes, sir.
15 minutes will save you money on car insurance?
On Geico.
God damn, I can't fix you. You're broken. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. So, yeah. Anything else? I'll wrap up on some of this stuff. If you get the chance, go to watch Hellier 1 and 2. It'll give you an idea of what happened down in Hopkinsville, because it's not the same story, but it's pretty damn close.
Right.
It's a fascinating story.
I'm interested to actually hear about that. I need to go. You keep telling me to watch that show, and I need to.
You watch lots of shit. You don't watch anything.
I know it.
I would never lead you astray.
I know.
Cannot get you.
I get home and I get busy doing stuff, and then I forget, and then I pass out.
That's so freaking weird, man. Like, one of the cameras is frozen.
Is it?
Yeah, and I can't get you. That's bizarre. Sorry, this is unrelated shit. I'll just fix it this way. Sorry. This is
I've got 2 elbows.
word. Well, heard that. Something goes, yep. Right there. Did it again. God damn, I keep hearing it.
Sorry.
No, it's not you.
Oh, you keep hearing a voice over there?
Yeah, it keeps going, yep. Now I don't know what to do. Fuck, who cares? I'll just do that.
I don't know about that. Double the fun. Double me, double the fun.
Yeah. I'll just get rid of one camera. I just won't worry about that anymore. It froze on me, so then what I can do is probably restart it. I'm not going to do that.
That's
15
all right.
minutes left. 13 minutes left. So you think aliens are real then at this point? I know we asked earlier, but
yes.
What?
I still go based on the fact that we are just a speck of dust in this universe and in this galaxy period. There's got to be something else other than just us.
Sure.
We're not just that perfect little seed that happened to form and get life.
Right.
There's got to be multiple out there too.
Hmm.
You know, given the billions and billions, you know, there's got to be more.
Yeah. Heath, I need to get you, if you want to, come tell your story on our show. He had something.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
I would love to hear it.
We'll make arrangements to get you on there. I know Ray had told me to reach out to you, so I'd love to hear, because you hear our versions of it. You hear our encounters or lack thereof sometimes, and
Are we talking UFO? Maybe.
Maybe.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. So we've had a couple people tell us before. I know we both had a buddy that, or no, it was the guy that called in one day. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
and said he saw something not too far from around here. So.
Mean that creature?
Yeah.
That one that called and it was not far from.
I don't remember where it was. Hutch? Was it northeast of Hutch?
It wasn't far from Hutch. It's like out in the country nearby
Yoder?
Hutch. No, not there.
Not Yoder, but Udall?
No.
What the hell is that called?
Udall's down south.
Not Udall, yeah. What the... Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Sorry, I got arm gestures going everywhere. I still remember that phone call.
I do too.
That I remember him saying he was driving a guy home they didn't know that well.
Oh, that's right.
And so he went out. It was by, it's like 20, 30 minutes away from Hutch, out in the country to the town. I can't remember. But the guy was giving him directions. The guy was, I think, drunk a little bit.
Yeah, sounds right.
And he was just taking him home, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to get this guy home, and then I'm going to get home.
Inman.
Huh?
Is it Inman?
Inman, yes, Inman. Right outside there on the back dirt roads there.
Mm-hmm.
And he says as he's driving, I think by now he was already dropped the guy off and he's heading home.
Right.
And he's trying to find his way out, and he saw this figure on the side of the road by the tree line, and as he's coming up, he said it was like almost like in a gray, skinish.
Mm-hmm.
Skinish. Jesus. In the gray skin, grayish is what I meant. Skin. And then the way the knees bent, they bent backwards instead of the way a human knees being forward. And then it just like bent over and launched itself almost like, I guess like a grasshopper in a way.
Sure.
Launched itself into the woods. And he had no explanation for it. He said it freaked him out.
Right.
He just saw this humanoid figure standing there, and then all of a sudden the legs bent backwards and launched.
I was getting in my head like a wolf-like creature, where
Possibly.
the legs are like both.
Right.
But yeah, we were gonna go out and check it out. We haven't yet. We need to go out there and look to see if we can find that similar location, whatever.
Yeah.
But
we need to actually start doing some little day drives and stuff like that, and go search around in some of these areas.
Yeah, definitely. Which we talked about a couple locations we're going to go to, but we just need to go actually do it now. So,
yeah, I remember that Charlie Sheen movie.
About like a creature like that?
The Arrival? No, not The Arrival. Yeah, it was a weird movie. Charlie Sheen back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not The Arrival, but it's something like that. But yeah, Charlie Sheen movie. He's got glasses and kind of spiky hair and little goatee. It's kind of
Weird.
like a nerd. He uncovers like a bunch of aliens that are like here on Earth.
Really?
Yeah.
Never seen that one. I obviously haven't seen that one before. Let's see what it is. Yeah, The Arrival.
The Arrival? Okay. Ha, I got it right.
1996. Interesting. I'll have to give that a watch. I've never seen that before.
It's not bad. I remember watching it a few times on HBO when it came out.
Rita's down to go investigate. Yeah, no, like I said, I don't know, man. Like I said, yes, I agree with your guys' point as far as aliens. I mean, being universe is too large for us to think that we're the only thing that exists. But okay, what if we are the only thing that exists out there? What are we seeing? I'm just asking.
Demons and angels, right?
Maybe.
All of our mythology is real.
I don't know.
You know, we got flying lions and creatures that the Bible depicts, you know.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Well, the thing is, it's always baffled me. I mean, yes, people have vivid imagination. You can make up shit, but it's like all these stories, all these things had to come from somewhere at some point. Why? Was it based upon something they experienced, the writer, or is it based upon just I was drunk and high, whatever, one day, and this came out. I threw up this information. I mean,
well, it's kind of like based on Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. What's it called? Unbreakable?
yes.
You know, he's like, talks about, like, where do you think they get all those stories for comic books? They came from somewhere, right?
Right. I guess. I mean, you hear about people having superhuman abilities, whatever, in times of crisis and whatnot. I mean, but I don't know.
I don't know. There's been too many eyewitness accounts of flying saucers to crafts to creatures walking from them and everything. You know, having encounters. You know, the story of Jason and Grant.
Right.
You know, reading those kind of stories from people that I like to think are, at the time when they wrote that story, or got a good reputation to them.
Right.
And
definitely in their infancy stage, so it wasn't as if they were established around nationally, whatever. So,
right.
Which, I mean, that being said, is it something they just could have probably made up for the book? I mean, as far as to gain notoriety, it's possible.
But notoriety,
so.
I think I'm the only one who talks about it the most. You know, I've never heard anybody else talk about it.
Yeah.
Or
that's one of the stories that freaked me out from the book, whatever.
Yeah. I put the book down after I read that.
Yeah.
I just put it down and looked at it like, did I just read that?
I think I read it a couple times just to make sure that's incident because of just how crazy it is. 5 or 6 different types of aliens now, huh? Charles says that?
Yeah. I mean, they keep saying that there's, you know, different ones.
Like what?
Different styles. I mean,
grays, you mean?
You have grays, greens. You have,
or whatever.
you actually have, like, not the so-called government lizard people, but you have ones that look more like a lizard type. You have the little creatures that were crashed at Roswell that were not green.
Yeah.
You have the creatures that Travis Walton saw that were just different. You know, you got different varieties that people see. It seems like the most notorious one is the grays that seem to be more, I wouldn't say evil, but they're more abrasive and more, we're coming to get you and we don't give a shit what happens.
Yeah. Rita wants to know his book. Is it Seeking Spirits? Is that the one?
Yes. Jason and Grant, Seeking Spirits. You can get it at...
Are they still available? Some of those are out of print, I thought.
I found them actually over at Half Price Books.
Really?
On East Kellogg. Yeah.
I'm trying to put a picture of it. It won't let me. Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Here, I'll put it up here, Rhea. 1 second.
Disappear for 2 seconds.
1. The book we're talking about, Rhea, is this one right here. If I can find it, where I saved it at. 1 second. Yeah, it's basically talks about their early encounters of when they ghost hunted. God dang it, it keeps disappearing. Hang on 1 second. Location disappeared on me again. No, we just have read it years ago, and then we make mention of it because some of the stories are fascinating. It talks about the earliest cases they have. Talking about taps, Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson back when they were taps. Now they're not anymore. 1 second here. God dang it, where'd that book? There it is. Sorry, I couldn't find it at first. Yeah, normally I'd edit this out, but it's alright. I'll just do it this way. So, there you go. It's up on the screen now, coming up here in just a second. Like I said, normally I edit that. There it is. It's called Seeking Spirits, The Lost Cases of the Atlantic Paranormal Society. It's one of their earlier books they had. I'm trying to, Charles. I'm building the anticipation for you. Always keep them wanting more. But yeah, it's a good book. It talks about their case. They have about I think 3 or 4 books out that I read at different times. That I know Jason's read them all. He may have them all too. But I read about 3 out of the 4, I think. Have you read all the Ghost Hunters books?
I have read 2 of them.
Oh, okay, I thought you read, because there's like Ghost Files, there's Ghost Hunting, and there's Seeking Spirits, and there's probably another one or 2. I can't remember.
I read Ghost Hunting and the
yeah,
Seeking Spirits. Yeah.
I never read the Ghost Files one. I need to read that one still. But yeah, it's a good book. If you can find it, read it, because like I said, it tells about their earliest cases. It talks about the reason I like it. It talks about how they got involved with the paranormal.
Right.
Each side. It talks about Jason's experience, to Grant's experience, and stuff like that. And then it talks about their first earliest cases.
Yeah, and what I liked is they tell the story of why they created the Taps family tree,
right?
Which is an outreach to different teams in other cities and states because of a tragic story that they couldn't get to.
Right.
They couldn't get to the case, and this woman kept asking for help, and they just, back then they didn't have a TV show. They didn't have the money and the capability. They were constantly having to take off work, pack up, fly or drive to people's homes, and so something bad happened. So you got to read the story. It's a little heartbreaking to.
It's kind of fun if you watch the earliest, like maybe season 1, episode 1 or 2 of the Ghost Hunters with the early incarnation of Taps. You see Grant's wife is all like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and do it," just be careful. And then Jason's wife's like, "Again?"
Right.
It's like this costs money. You're taking enough time from work. It's just funny to see them in their earliest infancy stages of the Taps and the ghost hunting show, and how could it be played up for the show, of course. But like I said, I think she genuinely was pissed.
I think she was, because you could just see it in her face and the way she was acting.
Pretty natural emotion.
Because he was like, "Yeah, so we got a call that we need to go to."
And they weren't even going that far. They were going from Connecticut to Rhode Island, Maine, wherever they live, Warsaw, where they were at, Maine, or not Maine, Rhode Island, excuse me, to Pennsylvania. So it was like they weren't even going across country.
Right.
And she was pissed off.
It's just the fact that they got another call, and it's like.
Well, even then, it's good old Brian. I can't remember say his name.
Yeah, Brian.
Harnwald, or his name is. Anyways, he had booked him this case. And they're like, God damn,
without even asking or talking to him.
Right. Well, then when they got back, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I booked 2 more cases while I was down there." Going back, and they're like, "We have to travel 30 hours back and forth to and from to get to this place, and you got us more cases." They were pissed. It was funny. I just watched it the other day.
And they're like, "Well, we got to do them."
Yeah.
Because you booked them.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the earliest episodes. I think it might be the first episode I ever heard.
And see, I can relate to that now with booking. When we first started, it was like, we need as many cases as we can get. Let's do this, and let's get our name out there and our information so people can contact us. And this is, 10 plus years, 12.
Longer than that now.
Well, yeah,
They ran
12,
10
13.
seasons, 11 seasons, I think.
Well, I'm talking about us.
Oh, us. I missed that piece. I was reading
Us. I'm talking about us. It's like,
yeah.
you know,
the same as them almost.
10, 12 years ago, when we're like, oh, we got to get this going, we got to do this, and we got to get as many people's cases as we can, then we just would book it every weekend.
Yeah. It
almost.
got expensive and it got tiring.
Oh, you got tiring, and then you get like, you find your evidence, you got to go over it, and, and then everybody would just drop off from the team that was not wanting to do evidence anymore.
Even though they participated in the investigation,
because you got 3 cameras and you go for 6 hours. That's 6 hours per camera, plus 4 recorders. That's 6 hours per each recorder, and just handhelds. If you're doing handheld,
it's a lot of work. At least,
that's one case.
Yeah, and like I talked about, and back in the days, I remember staring at a camera, just a doorway or whatever, a wall, and it's just like nothing's happening, and you just. But you can't not fast forward because you don't want to miss something that who knows what happens in the moment you don't pay attention. So yeah, it's been a lot of days. I remember I think Jason talked about it. There's one camera he listened to where it had a cricket chirping on there nonstop, and that's all you heard. And it got annoying, but
I wanted to kill the cricket.
Yeah, through the camera.
So bad.
Yeah. Like
I wanted to punch the screen.
The one time you don't watch it, that's when the thing walks in, or you hear a disembodied voice that you can't account for.
I'll never forget this, and I don't know why. When I handed this over to our leads at the time, pissed me off that they just blew it off. And I don't care if they're listening because it pissed me off. I'm watching a video, one of the cameras from the former church.
Oh yeah.
The forum. Watching it. I mean, I'm probably a good 4 hours into it, and it's just the stage.
Yeah.
No one around, occasionally you see one of us walk across or something like that, and then silence and silence. Then all of a sudden I hear like what sounds like the piano being moved across the stage.
That's right.
It was so loud, and I know damn well none of us did anything up there.
Well, you would have saw it on camera.
Oh yeah. And I'm just like, oh, what the hell was that, know? It was huge. It was something just screeching across the stage. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I handed it over. I talked about it. I was like, what is this? And it was like, eh.
Well, that's how it was with me in the very first case I ever investigated with you guys at the salon. Not the one we go to now, but at one and the other ones, where it's you and Brendan in the basement. And I'll never forget it because on camera I'm watching this and I hear 2 different things. I can't tell what it was. It's either Jason, I think, rubs his nose right after that, like that. But it's either a disembodied voice. It wasn't Brendan or Jason's voice.
I know what I said.
It says either "at you, motherfucker" or "I'll get you, motherfucker." And I gave it to the leads, and they're like, "Okay." I'm like, "But this is it's all right." I'm like, but you can clearly see on camera this is something happening, and it's not these 2 guys in the basement that are only people in the house.
Do you still have that?
I think it's on an old computer that's sitting right over there in the closet.
Gotcha.
But yeah, because I know that's where I watched it on. I think it's there still.
Because I had just called out the biker dude.
Yeah, you were talking to him. I remember this.
And his name was Dink.
Was it?
Yep.
I don't remember the name.
I was like, hey, Dink, because nothing was happening. In my mind, nothing was happening around me. And Brendan's sitting right next to me, and I was like, hey, Dink, you're going to come at me with your little tricycle with the little, frizz off of it and everything like that. You're gonna come down here because nothing was happening. We were told that they were brutal, evil guys, and there's evil stuff going on down there. So I just called him out. I'm like, hey, Dink, come on, get me. And then you tell me what was said afterwards. I remember itching my nose too because it was like something was like bothering me. And
now that you said, I do remember the conversation being had.
Yeah, and so I'm just sitting there, and you're like, yeah, something called you out, Jason. I'm like,
and I didn't even know Jason or Brendan at the time.
That was my first night meeting you.
Yeah, it was my very first case with you guys, and I didn't know I was going to be a part of the team at all. I just went just to test it out and see what it was about.
Yeah.
Had so many experiences and whatnot, and
you were all over the place that night.
Yeah, I just had a knack for it. I just feel I'd seen enough of these shows on TV. I was like, I kind of knew what to do, but then I was ready to go.
Testing everything, every possible theory, and and here you were just like really after it and everything, and I'm thinking to myself, who's this guy?
Who
Who invited him tonight?
Yeah, and I'll never forget, like, the minute I walked in and talking to the owners, I saw this full body apparition standing behind them, and I was asked. I knew there was a biker's supposedly story there. Or what I thought.
Right.
I said, "Have you ever seen this guy?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "How tall is he?" And she's like, "Oh, he's huge." I'm like, "Is he about this tall?" And I put my arm up against this wall, and she's like, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, "I just saw him." She's like, "Oh, okay," and just kind of walked away. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I just saw what I saw, man."
Right.
This thing was peering out behind, and the lights were on at the time. This is when we
Yeah.
were hearing the story, and everybody was getting ready to go downstairs to check out the location or whatever. And I was talking to her. I waited till everybody went past and
Yeah.
stopped her. But yeah, we heard some weird things that day, and that's once again had a possessed doll down there. Supposedly, I was trying to get to move, and I remember Claire was like, "If that thing freaking moves, Leo, I'm kicking your ass." I'm like, "Well, it's there. It's supposed to move. Let's see this damn thing move."
Right.
So, if you're ever around me and go investigate with me, if I ever show up to a place, if there's a doll there, I'm going to get that bastard to move, or I'm going to talk to it. So
the thing is, you know, I used to not believe that you were actually hearing or seeing this stuff because I'm like,
I didn't know if I was.
Well, I was like, I don't hear, because you're like, did you hear that? Did you hear that voice? And I'm like, no, I don't actually. Stop pointing it out. I don't.
Right.
You know, and you're like, all right. And then you go back and you play it and you're like, listen to this. And I'm like, holy shit, there's a voice there. And it's talking right back to you, answering your question.
Right.
You know? And
well, in the beginning, I wouldn't even ask. I mean, I was just like, nobody's hearing this shit.
I know.
I'm hearing all this fucking thing going on, and everybody's reacting. So maybe it's just in my mind. I'm making things up in my own brain, and then you go back recorders, like you said, and they're there, or video, whatever, it's there. So, yeah, well, it's fun. That's what
it is, you know. I mean, but I've gone on to, like, you know, I trust your instincts and stuff. Like, I do.
That's your mistake.
Even when you're fucking with me.
I've never done that.
Yes, you do. No. But no, I've gone to, you know, to everyone on the group, you know, I trust what they're saying, and what they're seeing is the truth, because we can go back and look at it and listen to it, and there it is. And I've been blown away by it. You know?
Well, one thing I worried about in the beginning especially is like, okay, you hear me in the moment saying, "Do you hear that?" Nobody says, "I don't hear anything." I'm like, well, okay. And then you go back and hear it, it's like, I was self-conscious thinking, I hope they're not thinking I'm putting that on there somehow, or I'm whispering, in the moment, you know. I'm like, I'm just out here. You see me with you. I'm investigating with you as is, and whatever's there is there, if something's there. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a wild ride. We've been doing this way long, and
many more years to come.
I hope so, man. Hope to the end. So.
I'm not going anywhere. Are you going anywhere?
Well, hopefully up all the way to the top. So.
All right, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I'm kidding. So yeah,
don't kid.
Well, I'm not.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll be reaching out to some of you viewers. You guys have some interest in some stories that you want to talk about on the show. I'd love to have you tell your guys' story.
Yeah.
We'll also maybe reaching out to you guys. Maybe we will bring you along to some place.
Hey, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, you never know. So keep watching, keep tuning in week in. We appreciate everything you guys have done over the years for us. And Ray's like, I'm not going anywhere. So thanks for making fun of us. I'm not going anywhere. Maybe
yes, you
not.
are.
Maybe she's not. I'm going crazy.
She will too.
I know. So
she's staying.
All right. That's
fine. Okay. Invitations off the table. No more.
No, but seriously, we'll definitely get you guys out, and hopefully we get some. I know we got some things in the works, public investigations that are coming up in the woodworks that have already been announced.
Yeah.
And Carl, your story's not boring. You've been part of our crazy adventures for many years, just as much as I've been a part of this. So.
I mean, some of our famous moments are with Carl.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've had some weird shit going on, but no. Once again, I want to tell everybody thank you guys for tuning in each week. We like doing this for you guys. We have fun telling stories and telling other people's stories, as you saw tonight. If you get the opportunity, go to, I think it's Amazon Prime, I want to say. Check out Hellier. Hellier. It's named after the city, Hellier, Kentucky, and it talks about the alien encounter that's similar to what we talked about in Hopkinsville. It's a great series if you want to watch it. Like I said, some friends of ours, Greg and Dana Newkirk, which I need to get them on the show so they can tell whatever they want to talk about, because they're interesting people.
And hopefully soon we will have our own DVD out, and you can see the actual footage that we've been talking about.
Damn tease.
What's that?
Is it you tease?
I know. Hey, we've been talking for so long about doing it. I want to put it out there to make it happen.
Yeah.
You talk about it long enough, it can and must manifest, right?
Right. We'll get it. Yeah. So, but no, just keep tuning in. Like I said, if there's ever a subject you guys want to talk about, have us talk about, let us know. We'll definitely.
Yeah, reach out to us during the week and stuff, and we'll look into it and talk about it.
Yeah, you can hit us up on the Facebook pages, Cryptic Heartland. You can email the show if you want to, cryptic.heartland@gmail.com. Definitely reach out to us. We'll answer your questions. We'll tell your stories. We'll even have you on a guest if you want to come on. So
yeah, if you want to talk about it with us, absolutely.
Yep. So we'll have other guests. We're working on some guests behind the scenes actively, so we'll definitely get you guys some stories from other people's adventures too that are similar to ours. So, but once again, happy Father's Day to everybody out there who's fathers, and if not, I don't know what to tell you.
Happy not a Father's Day.
Okay. You have every other day, so enjoy that. Yeah, there you go. Carl, if you order today, we will include a free haunting. I like it.
Whatever's haunting us, we'll send it your way.
Right. You will be possessed as well. All right, guys. Now, once again, this has been episode number 142, Cryptic Heartland. We'll
revving up for number 150.
Getting closer. But thank you guys for everybody tuning in. And once again, I'm one of the hosts, Leo. Across the way is Jason.
I just kind of show up and talk.
Eventually, we'll get some of the regulars back on the show here too. So I don't know when that's going to be, but they're out doing family things and whatnot. So understandable. But thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Next week, absolutely.
Take care, guys.
See ya.